Okay, we're on Sunday the 9th of October. So let's have a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar for the trading week ahead. So last week we went over these key resistance areas that we are sitting in on the Australian dollar, US dollar. It's quite a few of them as we move up. Okay, so what we're looking for last week was reactions at the key resistance levels. It's exactly what we got, and the market has started to come back down once again. So where are the key levels of support below now that we also want to be looking at? Let's mark some of them in. You're just looking for the strongest levels when you're taking into account support and resistance. You don't want to take in absolutely everything. Just the strongest levels. Okay, so you can actually, what I'll do is I'll also take it down to these lows down here also. Okay, so the market is basically in between the resistance level up here. We've already had the rejection and we've started to come down once again. We are currently at a support level. You can see the reactions right here. You can see we spiked down into the level right here. Here. And here. We've pushed up, rejected off of these levels, and we have started to come down. What can we see on the chart? Well, we can see the market has made a high, a lower high, and a lower high once again. We've then sold down into the support level. But for me, the strongest support levels are further down still, down at these levels right here. So coming into the next trading week, what are the sensible things to be looking for? If we're looking at this chart the way it is, well, a few things I'm going to be watching for. The market coming down into support levels, where I'll definitely be interested in looking for bullish bounces once again. If we start to get these bullish bounces, what am I looking at? Let me just delete some of this so I can show you. I'll be looking at the potential for a head and shoulders pattern. You have your shoulder, you have your head, which just came right on the MA200 on the daily time frame, and then we have the potential for another shoulder, which will once again be lining up with the MA200. If the market can come down into these levels, we start to see reactions, start to see bullish bounces. I will be looking for the market to come back up into these key resistance levels. These levels up here, they remain good for sell positions. It's on the back of a very, very strong swing high. As we made this high, we've created lots of levels of support and resistance. You can see the market has reacted over and over and over again. And that is what led us to look for the weakness last week. However, down below, we have the very strong support levels. These support levels are lining up with a potential head and shoulders pattern. They're also lining up with the MA200, which, as we've gone over in analysis videos before, is what large institutions look at to determine if a market is in an uptrend or a downtrend. You're always going to hear it if you watch Bloomberg, anything like that. MA200, is the market above it? The market's in an uptrend. Is it below it? The market is in a downtrend. So for me, those are the key levels I'm watching next week. Once again, very similar levels to last week. However, we now have the potential for the head and shoulders pattern lining up with the MA200 and also the key levels of support. We want to watch for potential bounces. If the market comes back up, starts bouncing off of the support level, we want to watch at the resistance levels. For sell positions again, you want to keep your eye on the fact that the market has been making lower highs. You just want to look for little clues. If the market now bounces from these levels, comes up, and starts to make, let's say it gets up to here and then reacts again. Yes, we're at resistance levels. Yes, certainly shorter time period sells, absolutely fine. However, we have just broken above 2 of the previous highs in a market that has been making lower highs. What does that suggest? It suggests that potentially we would then start to see these levels acting as support when the market comes back down again, which is something you would just want to keep your eye on, rather than, if you're in higher time frame trading, rather than just looking at this as resistance and expecting the market to come back down again. You just want to be a little bit more careful because the market has just given you evidence that is potentially changing what it's doing, because it has broken the 3 lower highs that it has been making. It's been high, lower high, and then it has just broken that pattern. That's pretty much everything for the Australian dollar, US dollar going into next week, guys. Expectation really is for the market to come down into these levels, which is where I will be watching for signs of the head and shoulder pattern, with the potential to return up into these resistance levels at a minimum. If we start to push up from the support level, I want to see if we can make a new high, or if we continue with the lower high pattern that the Australian dollar has been making. Okay, I hope you all have a good trading week next week. As always, I'm James Orr, and thank you.